Well, well, well. This is well. This is kind of weird, actually. Um, 10 past 9, and I decide. I don't remember the last time I did a audio event. I guess this is the new audio event. Yeah, I suppose so. First time I'm trying it out too. Um, Kind of neat, I guess, being off camera like this and watching my bobblehead there like look like it's expanding and contracting with the talking. Very weird. Anyway, so hey Leslie, thank you so much for popping in. Um, just here hanging out by myself and figured, well, I want to hang out. So morning, Kinga. Yeah, Nick the Nut. Oh, that actually sounds pretty cool. I kind of like nuts anyway. But woke up this morning, having my coffee like I do every Sunday morning. Boo always just does his 2, 3 cups, chilling in bed, watching his phone. And I'm like, okay, this is what I would typically do on a Sunday morning as well. Hang out on my social media. But I guess being that now I work from home, kind of don't want to be on here working on a Sunday. So I'm like, but I kind of want to hang out. Hello, Charles. How are you? So I decided I'm just gonna go live, whatever. Bring my friends up on stage. They want to talk. Let's just talk. I'm having coffee. I need some company today. What's the show about? I have no clue. I guess the show's about you tell me whether or not I should come back on a Sunday morning at 9:30. And if the answer is yes, I guess we'll figure out some stuff. So really excited though. I just reached out to a couple of people, and it looks like I'm pulling together a live show with uh, Guy Pearce, Richard. I can't ever say his last name right. The Go Brunch guy, Lawrenceville, I think. And of course, we'll just wait for Mr. Joshua Lee to answer. How did this come up? Woke up at like 11:30, wanted cookies and milk, had that, and then popped onto LinkedIn, of course, because God forbid I should not. And I see Joshua Lee live, and so I'm listening to him, and I'm going, uh, uh, okay, so this is how we succeed in entrepreneurship. I agree to some extent. I beg to differ on quite a bit, but when have I ever run from a heated argument? So I think bringing on these three entrepreneurs would be interesting. Yes, bi-monthly Leslie, for now. And who knows, time's on my side these days. Ooh, feels good to see that. Richard, good morning. Sharon, good morning. Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? So I was saying earlier that it's 10 past 9. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I'm like, damn, I really could use some company with my coffee. Now, let's see. I started the business last week. So all week I've been home working by myself. But I'm used to getting up every morning and going to an office with 12 other people. So, I do get some socializing in there, like person to person. And not that it has bothered me this week, but now it's the weekend and it's the reverse. And I'm like, I really should go do something. But it's cold and snowy and miserable outside. I really don't feel like, so I'm just going to bring you all up here. And feel free to come on and talk. And just give me 1 second. Let me figure out how to find this linky thing. Oh, here we go. I usually have my remote producer, but seeing as I decided to do this 20 minutes ago, I'm pretty sure he's like, what on earth? Let's see if I can. Yeah, no, I didn't think that would work. Oh, yeah, look at that. It did work. All right. Somehow, usually, when I'm in the show, I can't comment, but I guess that comment popped up there. But does that mean it's only popping up on YouTube? Anybody see the link there? All right, let me go drop it in the post of the show. I'll be right back. Well, I'm not gonna be right back. I'm here. I'm just clicking buttons. Let's hope I don't go on camera button because Yeah, you really do not want to see my mug right now, that's for sure. Okay, jokes. All right, links in the comments in 2 seconds. Feel free to pop in. Oh my God, Charles, you're too much. Back to Sunday morning. We're all in prison. Thanks to our cell phones. Yeah, Sharon, it is definitely an adjustment. Um, Sorry, folks, but the link is in the chat of the whatever comments of this shoot if you want to jump on. I ain't seeing Miss Freckles right now, that is for sure. Miss Freckles scared the shit out of everybody, and y'all never talk to me again. And besides, it's not good for the whole image of supposedly being a business owner right now. So, but feel free to pop in. I could use some company up here. This is why I did this. I kind of don't want to drink my coffee by myself this morning. So, it's been a while since I had to lead an entire show just yapping by myself as well, even though I'm pretty much a yapper. A second, let me light my cigarette. All right, there we go. So, yes, I definitely need you guys to put in the chat whether or not Nick should come back every other Sunday morning doing Nick Nevin Control at 9:30 Eastern. Um, and like I said, of course, we'll figure out what the hell we'll talk about. There's always something to talk about, that is for sure. But I kind of missed this, and I didn't realize how much I did. I guess I had my head down so much in everything else that I was doing last year, and then the live show kind of fell to the side. Um, well, this fell to the side first. I gotta tell you though, I definitely missed the audio events the way they were set up. Just not saying that this isn't a way for us to communicate with one another as well, but it's definitely not the same cup of tea. So I know I have friends out there in the comments that need to get up here. So nobody's gonna watch your crazy hair. Nobody's watching your busted up PJs that are your favorite comfies that ain't gonna throw away. Don't worry about it. Just come on up. Um, so curious by a show of comments. Yeah, but yes in the comments, whatever. I the only one that's scrolling through feed sometimes, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, comes across a quote and then takes a screenshot. Anybody else do that? Well, either everybody's gone for coffee or nobody in hearing me. Okie dokie. All right, so yes, I am definitely one of those people that would be scrolling through the home feed on Facebook, on LinkedIn, doing something or the other, and I would decide to take a screenshot of a quote that I see or something somebody wrote that I liked. So I'm going to share a couple of these just for the heck of it. Feel free to come on up and share if you yourself have ever come through or come across one of those and you decided you're going to take a screenshot as well. Look at it sometime, maybe post it sometime. You can't join from my phone, so I'll try and join from my laptop. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry, Jackie, my bad. So, you know what I love about this? I'll tell you what I love about this. Like I said, 9:10, I run into the bedroom and I tell my husband I'm bored. I'm on my second cup of coffee and I need someone to talk to. No, he's very quiet. And yes, we do talk. But his first couple of hours on a Sunday morning, yeah, he kind of likes to have his coffee and be alone. So I said, I'm going to go live at 9:30. He's like, okay. And I'm like, all right, bye. Isn't that the beauty of this? That you could just jump on whenever you want and do whatever the heck you want to do. So, oh, Leslie, that's cool. And like I said, I just decided to do this like for no reason at all. Bye, Kinga, love you. It's pretty cool when, yeah, I just decide to do this and people show up. So here was the question, and all you need for the answers are yes. Have you ever been scrolling through home feed on social, come across a quote and loved it, so you decide you're just gonna take a screenshot. So here's one I came across this morning, and I really want to know your thoughts on it. So throw in the comments and they'll come up here. Worry about your character, not your reputation. Your character is who you are. Your reputation is what people think you are. Is that a yes, agree, or no, disagree? I'll read that again. Worry about your character, not your reputation. Your character is who you are. Your reputation is who people think you are. So I got a yes. I see Jackie agrees with that. Jackie, I would love a one liner in there if you're in a space to put it about why you said yes. And I'm curious if anybody else has an answer. You got a yes or a no. You agree or you don't agree. So I'll share my opinions too while we do this. So I do say that we should definitely be concerned about our character. And that should be first and foremost. Now, when I think about the reputation part, yes, it's about who people think you are. But how do they form those opinions? Yes, character is the way you represent yourself. I agree with you, Jackie. If people know you or follow you long enough to observe your character, they will build the right uh, perception of your reputation. Reputation depends on who is in the room. Hmm, exactly. That definitely ties into what I just said. So I do see we have somebody backstage here. We have Zara. Hi, Zara. I'm going to bring you up on the stage. And good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. I've got a bit of a croaky voice in case you can't hear it. But yeah, I'll try and stay on as long as I can. How are you today?
I am well. Like I said, I woke up this morning and I haven't done one of these. Well, the last time I did this was many months ago, and it was still the old uh, layout for the audio room, not this way. I do my live show, but I'm like, you know what? I want to hang on. I want some company with my coffee this morning, so let's have coffee. Um,
Mhm.
so, welcome, first of all, to, I guess, the determination of whether or not Nick Nevin controlled the audio live, whatever thingy, returns on a Sunday morning bi monthly at 9:30. But I was just talking about, are you ever scrolling through the home feed on any social media platform and you see a quote that you like and you take a screenshot of it? And then maybe you revisit it some other point, maybe you repost it and you write, your thoughts on it. And the one that I just read was worry about your character, not your reputation. Your character is who you are, your reputation is who people think you are. Do you agree or disagree with that quote and why?
Oh, well, this is a very deep question. um,
Indeed.
I personally think it really depends how well we know ourselves to start with. And what do we mean by character? I mean, a lot of a lot of people can turn up and be different people on different days depending on who they're mixing with. And so that character can be different. I'll give you an example. I have quite a few friends that I thought, yeah, I like them, and they like me equally. Yet when I introduced them to each other, they didn't like each other, and I was like, why is this? And it took me a while to figure out what was going on. And they were basically just adapting to be like me. Okay. But in the presence of each other, they just clashed. They absolutely clashed. And it wasn't something that I could just say, oh, that's that kind of character. I just introduced them to each other. So I think it's a kind of it's one of those questions that what is it that we are perceiving that person to be, and how well do we actually know this person, and what is a character? And I think unless we actually define all that stuff, it's quite tricky to actually answer that question. I don't tend to go around taking screenshots of quotes I've seen. I tend to ask questions. I go, what do you mean by that? So I think I would have asked the question there rather than just take a screenshot and then ask other people what they thought. I would address the actual person who posted that and go, okay, I know my character. Who are you? Yeah. And what do you mean by character? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does answer my question. In the way that again, here we go. In the way that you would perceive the quote and what you would take away from it. And it's funny you would say that because yes, I definitely think that I have friends who I align with that I would think would align as well. They don't, which is always interesting. So when I say align, I don't think we necessarily align 100%. There are character traits about each of us that we each identify with in each other, I suppose. Um, I appreciate you coming up and sharing. And I want to say hi to Carolyn, who just joined us. And I do want to um, read a couple of these comments here. So Sharon Burns says, character is part of reputation. Bye, Jackie. Have a great Sunday. Thank you for popping in. So Leslie says, yes, and everybody's view of who they think we are is distinct. So you could never land as the same way with everyone. I am loving these comments because I am agreeing with these comments as well. Charles, of course, cracks me up by always asking the funniest questions. If you could be any character you wanted to be, which character would you be? Zara, is that a question you would want to answer? I would have to think about that actually.
If I could be any character, which character would I be? I think Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. I'd have to choose Wonder Woman. And
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, great that I met you this morning because I don't know if you've ever seen my live show Dick Devin Control, but my remote producer Aaron Gibson does these awesome smash up videos. And one of the things that he did is he transposed my face into Wonder Woman, which I thought is hilarious because she's like an Asian looking Wonder Woman. Um, and that is actually one of my favorite characters as well. So
how
I
funny
like
is
that.
How funny is that? So I was approached by these people who were drawing pictures and caricatures of people, and I was asked this question, and they wanted to do some kind of version of me, like for this comic magazine. I'm not quite sure what came of it in the end, actually. And so, yeah, we kind of started talking about Wonder Woman then. This was a couple of years ago. It was for some kind of NFT. And the way I described it was that, well, I see a problem and I can see the answer to it like straight away for some reason. I don't know if it's just a gift or a curse. And I kind of just go in there and then I help them see the problem, I help them see the answer, and then I just get out. That's why I call myself Wonder Woman. And the problem is that lots of people then started coming to me with all their problems. But then when I had a problem, no one could actually answer it. It was so big. It was so big by this point that like no one had an answer for me. So I thought, well, am I really Wonder Woman if I get myself into these messes? So yeah, that was kind of a bit of a joke that we had.
And
So
I think that you are because that's what she does in the show. She gets herself into these messes to try to clean them up. Um,
yeah,
but interesting, Wonder Woman doesn't seem to really show that she needs anything herself. Well, other than her guy who died in the show, which that's great. I don't remember his name either. But I want to welcome Jenny Gold. Hi, Jenny. Good morning. So um, I just want to put it out there as well. Some of the things that are rolling down the pipe for the gifted bipolar writer, me, and something I would be sharing again today is that I'm actually going to be co-hosting Mind Over Matter Mondays with Leslie Flowers. Previously co-hosted with Paulette Hallam, who sounds just like you, Sarah, by the way, the accent. And I'm, honored, humbled, excited, nervous. And yes, I am nervous. There have been people around doing the things that I'm doing now for a very, very long time. And I enjoy stepping back and learning from them. And I enjoy that I have the space to figure out how to adapt and do it my way. So, Zara, thank you so much. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to share with us, but if there is, by all means, go ahead because I'm going to read another quote. And I do want to mention to the audience again that the link to join is in the comments of this live event post. So feel free to jump on it. Sarah?
Thank you. Well, maybe we can have a chat offline later on, and get to know each other a little bit more, and yeah, talk about like basically bipolar and being gifted in neurodiversity. That's what I'm really, really passionate about. But no, if you're waiting to read your piece, please go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
Well, I'm just going to read another quote off here, actually, that I copied, and perhaps maybe I would consider reading a piece. But yes, um, would love to talk. And yes, when I talk about being the gifted bipolar writer, the gift is not the writing, the gift is the bipolarness. Why? Because quite simply, once I decided to embrace my bipolarness, build my awareness around it, and how to make it work for me, um, my life opened up in many ways that I didn't know that it could or would. Um, and yes, we certainly can have that conversation. All right. I'm missing Mrs. Freckles' wonderful smile, but loving having closed captioning. Okay, that's great, Charles. I'm glad it's popping up because it's not something that I purposely did or didn't do. All right. So let's see. Came across this last night, and for me, every once in a while you come across something you feel like the words are just speaking to you. Maybe it's the mindset that you're in the moment. Maybe you feel you need to hear it. Um, but this one said the average age of a business founder is 45 years old. The average age of a CEO is 55 years old. The average millionaire is 61 years old. So sis, it happens to be a woman that posted this, two women, you're perfectly on time. I am curious in the comments if you think that this is accurate. The average age of a business founder is 45. The average age of a CEO is 55. The average millionaire is 61. Yes, you agree in the comments. Yes or no, you do not. So, Sarah, you're up here with me. So, unfortunately, you're being put on the spot left, right, and center. And you so much on this one.
Oh, do you know what? I've never heard of this before. It's not something I'd come across. Um, I think there are plenty of young entrepreneurs around. There's plenty of young CEOs around, especially in this new digital era that we live in. There are plenty of opportunities out there. Maybe a long time ago it was slightly more difficult to start a business, but I see a lot of people almost setting up a business with just a phone these days. So I guess, was there a specific industry this was talking about? Did it say anything extra about it? That's what I really want to know.
No, it didn't actually, and I really like the way you think. You always say that next step. And no, it didn't say anything about it in particular. Just it just made that I guess average. I don't know what they were weighing it on or against, but I do agree with you. A lot of younger people are becoming entrepreneurs. I think earlier than perhaps once upon a time. For me, of course, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I kind of need to hear this right now because I need that little oof. I started my company less than 2 weeks ago and I'm 48. So, yeah. All right. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for coming up and sharing everything,
You're
your
welcome.
thoughts with us this morning. It's really appreciated, especially I decided to start this like 2 minutes ago. Um, and I hope that we speak offline. All right. So I shall talk to you very soon again.
Okay, take care. Have a lovely Sunday.
You as well.
Bye.
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 All right, we got Leslie here, so we're gonna bring Leslie up.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm such a pain in the neck, right? Like I literally, At 10 past 9, I'm like, I'm going live. And I send out like messages to like 30 people. Um, because I'm on speed dial with half of the people in here. um, and then people show up. I just love it. Hi Felipe, how are you? Hi Crystal. You didn't join late. I mean, at like 9:10, I decided I need some company with my coffee. I'm just gonna go live. But oh my god, I can't be very spontaneous like this. Usually, my spontaneity leads to occasional damage to myself. That is, but today that's not going to happen. So, Leslie,
Yeah.
my my wow, I don't even know what to say. Like tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, I get the pleasure of being your co-host
Yeah.
on Mine Over Mine Over Matter Mondays. Um, I'm laughing because it's just been a ride these last 7 days for me. um, but it's been a good ride, a thrilling ride, an occasionally anxious ride. But yeah, like what an opportunity for me because I would not have had this 2 weeks ago.
That's
2 weeks
right.
ago, I couldn't even sign in. I would sign in and just say hi in the comments. Um,
That
and
that's why, Nick. That's why when we make a decision, like you made a decision, regardless of the reason why, to do something new and step away from what you were doing, that is when opportunities show up. Because if you were still working at the elevator company, you would not be the co host. So, right? And then the boundary is that if I do this co hosting with Leslie, will it take me closer to my goal to encourage more people to get over their fear or discomfort that with writing a chapter about their legacy? That's just one fear that everybody overcomes when you write in one of your anthologies. So you see, this you coming in at this point exposes you to all the people that have been coming to Mind Over Matter for over a year now. So that's how the universe works, that you were actually, it's the law of sacrifice. You would not have had this particular opportunity had you not made that courageous and difficult decision. Yeah.
100%. And I have to say, I've had to turn down some opportunities, um, over the time I've been doing this because of my job. And those opportunities are still there, and I get to revisit them. But so many more opportunities seem to just be being thrown my way right now. And, it was time. It was time for me to take this step. I felt it. I knew it. Does it mean that I don't have some anxiety? Of course not. But I will say one thing for me: fear has never held me back. And in this moment, more so than ever, it's going to drive me. It's not going to hold me back.
Well,
Um,
look at about the fear. I mean, honestly, what you did last quarter, um, blew my mind. And the fact that you took on three books at once, talk about fear, lack of self confidence. Like you just barrel assed through it, is what you did. You had willpower and focus and persistence, and it was a crazy goal for me and for probably 99% of the people on the planet. But see, that is what's so special about you. And I think each of us have a type of genius like you. Maybe we haven't discovered it yet. I don't know.
my goal in anything is to reach the damn finish line.
Mm,
Sometimes I'm going to cross it running full speed.
mm.
Sometimes I might be dragging myself across it. I don't care. My goal is to reach the finish line. And whatever I put my mind to at that time. So I am excited for tomorrow. Um,
Me too.
I wow, like I met you, oh God, I think a couple of years ago, and I first heard you speak on Donald Cohen show and fell in love with the things you were talking about. Blew up the comments because that's just how I am. I want to have a two-way conversation, and here we are now, 2 years later, with our standing phone call, working on so many collaborations. And this is just the absolute beauty of what you can have if you so intend through one chance meeting. And
Well,
that,
let me tell you, one of the things that worries me, and I will be honest about this, and I just wonder if those who are listening, you know, um, we do these collaborations and we fall in love with each other in many respects. We align, we find commonalities. But I have to tell you that ultimately, these collaborations and relationships, most of them end. And it's the same thing with your elevator company. You love those people, but there, it's almost like that quote out of the New Testament about the reason and the season, right? There's so some people are with you all your life. Certainly, connected biologically, your children, and hopefully, face to face. It isn't always that way. But what I've discovered is my fear of abandonment continues. I thought that my judge of character and that my intuition was spot on. But as you said before, Nick, this alignment doesn't work forever for all these relationships. And that's been the hardest part for me, is to say goodbye to things that worked but were done. And I think that now all these other opportunities are opening up, just like they are for you. If you were still working there, you'd have to deflect them until a weekend or an evening, which, filled up your calendar like crazy. So, in a way, this is a good thing, but there's always the hard part about it, right? The lesson is no one's there forever. And, abandonment by someone that you had a close collaboration with is not easy. That's what I kind of wanted to share with you.
no, it's not, and I do agree with you. And now having had the opportunity to work with 62 co-authors, and I say work with because not every single one of them has developed into something more than a publisher, co-author. Oh, you look so
Makeup
charming.
makeup is on. Hair isn't done yet, so I'll go back to audio because I got to heat up the curling iron. But I just wanted to blow you a kiss.
Aw, I don't know if I dare put myself on camera right now, but look, Nick, let's say goodbye, woman. Guess what? Nick's in the PJs, and Nick really doesn't care.
See,
Having the
we
most,
can be audio or video, and we have choice. And exercising choice is the most powerful thing of all, isn't it?
having the most fun here. I mean, Nick's the only ones that are gonna show up here talking to her friends, and she ain't brushed her teeth yet. Yes, I did see that. But I'm getting off camera. Oh my goodness! And is this streaming live to YouTube? I do believe that it is. Oh well, it's whatever. So yes, good morning. I know some people might just be joining. Sharon, I do see you, so I'm going to bring you up shortly. And why did I go live this morning?
You were
Like I
bored.
said,
You were
I was
bored.
bored. I literally sent out 30 messages saying I'm bored going live in 5. And I've had at least a dozen friends show up, and I think that is amazing because it's not me showing up in this space that once held so much for all of us and hasn't been here for like at least 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So I just popped on and I thought to myself, well, y'all gonna decide now. Does Nick show up again bi-monthly at 9:30 Eastern to do this? Of course, this would be perhaps a little bit more intentional in terms of what we discuss. But the link for to get up here with me is in the comments of the event. Please feel free to join. We're not talking about any one thing in particular. We're just kind of having a conversation because I need some company with my coffee. Oh no, no, that sounded pretty selfish. Um, I wanted to share my coffee with everyone. No, my cup's not big enough for that either. But anyway, Leslie, you have a wonderful time on Zoom Party. I know you're doing your hair. Please be
Yep.
careful. I am very clumsy. I tend to occasionally burn myself with the
Yes.
flat
Yes.
iron. Um, my hands are not as steady as they used to be. Oh wait, that's probably the smoking
Yep.
and the coffee. But anyways, all right, you. I shall chat with you mañana at
Yep. We'll
10
see you.
o'clock
Yep.
on
Yep.
my
We'll,
Noble Matter Mondays, and I
yep.
hope to see all of you there as well. All right, you. Love you. Leslie, I'm so sorry. Sharon, I'm going to bring you up. And so far, I believe I've seen two yeses in let's return Sunday morning. So unless I get like a whole bunch more yeses, no, just kidding. I'm going to show up anyway. Hello, Sharon. How are you?
Hello, Nick. How are you? I'm well. I was able to make it to my laptop, so I wanted to jump on real quick.
Awesome.
So thank you for bringing me up. But what I wanted to say is a couple of things. First, to say um, what Leslie said about her fear of abandonment. I think that's one of my strongest fears as well, because you do connect with people throughout your life, and maybe you think that the connection is stronger in the sense that it'll last, you know, forever, for lack of a better word, and then you discover that it doesn't. But one of the things that really struck me when Leslie was speaking is she said it was, it makes her question her intuition because she thought differently of people. And I don't think it has anything to do with your intuition, in the sense of doubting your intuition. I think at that moment, your intuition connects you with the person because there is something there. Um, but as we grow and evolve, because we constantly grow and evolve, whether we realize it or not, because change is inevitable, and even change within ourselves is inevitable. So those changes, some are very subtle but impactful, others are very obvious and impactful. So sometimes people do just kind of fizzle out. And maybe it's not a fizzle, maybe something happens that's more intense. But I just think that's the nature of evolvement, and I don't know that that's completely connected to uh, you know uh, a misfiring, for lack of a better word, of somebody's intuition. And that's what I'm learning from my own experience, because I would constantly say to myself, well, how could I have gotten this wrong about this person? And I don't think I got it wrong. I think it's just that we evolved, and we evolved uh, in different ways or different directions. So that's one thing I wanted to say about that. And then, as far as character versus reputation, um, I do believe that our character is who we are, and our reputation is what other people perceive us as being. But I do see them as linked, because how I live my life on a daily basis is about my character, and my reputation is built upon my character. The difference being that your reputation is influenced by other people's perception of you. And the truth about perception is we can only see a certain amount of experiences or people from our own viewpoint or perception. So that's how I think it affects it. Yes, we can put ourselves in other people's, we can perceive things from other people's perspective, like with empathy to a point. But there is a limit, because we can only really experience or judge things, for lack of a better word, based on our perception, which is based on how it's based on our reality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love everything that you shared, and a lot of it makes sense to me. And I see that Leslie also commented, fair point, Sharon, and that I think that that might have been to the comments that you made regarding the fear of abandonment. Um, And yes, I think that most, if not all of us, have had connections that perhaps have developed into deeper relationships, and for one reason or the other didn't work out. And oftentimes, too, uh, it's like unrequited love, right? You love that person doesn't love you back, at least not in the same way or to the same degree. Um, and I suppose that in a way that is a fear that could be with all of us. Um, I know oftentimes people say things like, "Well, I don't care what other people think," or um, "If you don't love me just the way that I am, then move on." Uh, I'm human. I mean, do I feel it if one of my relationships that meant a lot to me gets into a place where everything blows up and it's over? Of course I do. But I can't say truthfully that, I can say truthfully, sorry, that as time goes by, I do reflect and I do assess. And more often than not, I would come to the realization that the relationship that I had at that time needed to end for me to be where I am right now. Now, I know that might sound kind of mean, but that's my truth.
Can I say something, Nick?
Yeah, you're okay with me.
I don't think it's mean at all. I think it's true. Relationships, all some relationships and most relationships have all relationships have a purpose. And some relationships, they aren't meant to go to infinity. I have relationships in my life that I know will be to infinity. And even some of them are people that I've met within the last 2 years on LinkedIn. And I say that because I see us growing together. Even when we grow differently, we're still supporting each other in those differences and in what we're doing. However, there are people who I thought would be in my life forever, like my ex husband, who are not in my life now. That's why he's my ex. But when I first got involved with him and started dating him, I thought it was going to be a forever thing. And my intuition told me at that point it was going to be a forever thing. And I don't think that my intuition did me wrong at that, when we broke up. I just think, truthfully and honestly, we grew at very different levels, emotionally and spiritually, and where our goals were going and how we viewed things. And to this day, even though it was a very contentious relationship at the end and in the divorce, and we really don't have, you know, a pleasant relationship now, I don't regret or I don't blame myself in a negative way for having been attracted to him and having the deep relationship that we did. Because at the time, I thought it was forever. And I also know how much I gained from it, both when it was positive and when it started to fall apart. So, yes, I have a fear of abandonment. I have had a fear of abandonment all my life. And knowing the deep connection I had with him and what I thought it would be has amplified and knowing that it ended has amplified my fear of abandonment. But how I deal with that, and I know this might sound hokey, but it really is true. I have worked on and I continue to work on knowing that I will never abandon myself, that other people's opinions or perceptions of me do not have to be what I truly believe about myself. I don't have to take that in.
Very well said. And I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I think that the way that I perceive myself is the most important perception. I will continue to be who I am, and through interactions, people will observe certain character traits about me, um, and form their opinions. And that is not something that I have any control over, nor do I want to have any control over, because I want to show up as me always, um, and not. I, there's a let me say it this way. Hi, Leslie. I'm so sorry. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Hey, Trini. So I mean, I can only speak to what I have experienced, and with the 60 courses I've worked with, right? Um, some I'd identified with right off the bat, some not so much. Some we had a lot in common, some not so much. One thing that I never want to do is mold myself to a person's beliefs, um, to what? To sign them on as a client. I mean, to be wishy-washy in my character so that I throw my weight here and throw my weight there, and I'm loved in this community, I'm loved in that community. I never want to be that person. Um, and I think oftentimes when people see certain character traits about people, um, in the meetings, those are the traits that they choose to highlight, perhaps for connection purposes. Uh, I was just speaking very rurally, brain dumping, mind dumping right now. But yeah, interesting conversation. And of course, Nick's like, I'm gonna jump on, have some coffee, chat with my friends, and look at where the conversation goes. Sharon, thank you so much. So I'm gonna read.
Hey,
Yeah.
Nick, can I just add one more quick thing? I promise it'll be quick. Then I'm going to exit from the stage. I promise. But
Oh,
as you were speaking, one of the things that came to me is I know one of the things that connects you and me, and there's many, you know that, but one of the things that connects you and me is the importance of our integrity, right? And so that's what I see you building your reputation on, not just your integrity, but it's a big piece of how you've built your reputation, because you say what you mean and you mean what you say, and you don't pretend to mean something that you don't mean so that you can get a client or get people to like you. You are who you are, and you are what you are, and you speak your mind in a polite way, but you speak your mind, and you don't let what others people what you think other people want to hear from you be what you start saying, so that you can make it into that group. And for me, I know my integrity is very important, and I think that integrity is a piece of reputation as well. So that's what I wanted to add. And
it's
thank you.
appreciated. Thank you. And no, I'm not trying to fit into any community because I don't want to get lost in a crowd of faces. I want to be one of the faces that are in the crowd that are looking around at each other, going, "I see your face." That's just me. Sharon, thanks so much. And I'm going to throw out another quote now because all of this started with the fact that sometimes when I'm scrolling home feeds, I see a quote that I like, I take a screenshot. And occasionally, when I'm going through my photos, I would come across it and it would bring me back to that time when I saw it and what it meant to me. And now reading it, did it mean the same thing to me or something different? Because yes, I am always evolving. And sometimes I like to post it and do a little write up on it. And so one of the quotes that I took a screenshot of was, "Your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude." And this is by Zig Ziglar. So in the comments, tell me yes or no, do you agree or disagree with this quote? Your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. So I will tell you my thoughts on this is yes. I love this quote. I truly, truly feel that with the right attitude, you can gain the aptitude. With the aptitude, that does not mean you can gain the attitude. It's either you have the attitude or you freaking don't have the attitude. Um, it's a quote that I look at often. And I am curious to know people's thoughts on it, whether or not they agree or disagree with it, and if so, why. I'm still looking for those comments that are going to tell me whether or not I should actually show up again 2 Sundays from now at 9:30 doing this. If you want to get on stage, the backstage link is in the comments of the event. So feel free to get on up here if you would like. Um, so I'll leave that there with that quote. I am going to, for anybody else who is just joining, share a couple of things, which is one, I'm going to be co hosting Mind Over Matter Mondays starting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with Leslie Flowers. Please join us. You've heard Leslie speak all about virtues and soul kissing love, and I am just thrilled. I read Errata in one sitting outside next to the pool, and when I shut the book, I was so pissed. I was like, where is the rest of it? So how can I even explain what it feels like to know that the second book is coming and that I get to play a part in the publishing? Yeah, anyway, there's that. And thank you, Felipe. See, I see that. Um, and I think that I do need to get back to doing this. I do hope that as I do that, however, the way the stage would fill up in an audio is the way this would fill up as well. I would love to see a million bubbles on stage here, although I think I could only do 10 at a time. But anyway, um, there's that. So, what else is coming? Okay, so last night I was woke up, and if you're here and you've heard it before, sorry, but if you're just joining us, for some reason at like 7:30 I was falling asleep. We were watching a movie, my husband and I, and it was a Viking movie. Oh, Leslie was a Viking movie, and usually, those times, those wars were very like gruesome. Um, and if I'm falling asleep on the couch to a show like that, I gotta move into the bedroom. I mean, all the clashing and the clanging and the yelling. Oh God. So I moved myself over there. I fell asleep. I woke up at 11:30, and I'm like, damn, why did you go to bed so early? Now I'm not gonna sleep. But what actually woke me up is the fact that I was hungry. I'm one of those people that cannot sleep if she's hungry. Some people can ignore and go back to sleep. I am not that person. Um, it's probably the reason for my stubborn belly fat. But anyway, so I get up, I scarf down like 4 David's cookies, those meltaways, and a glass of milk. And I pop onto my LinkedIn and I come across Joshua Lee's live show. Um, I don't think I might have listened to one or two of his shows for a bit. Um, and probably through Aaron, seeing my big brother Aaron on it. Um, and so I was listening to him last night talking about um, being in business. Um, when people say they don't care about money, uh, what does that even mean? What does that impact on your business? Um, and things like the followers do matter and why they matter, and just stuff like that. And some I agreed with, some I disagreed with, and I like these lively, um, mind rousing type of conversations. And being that I'm new to entrepreneurship now, I really want to hear from some of the people that I've observed out there on LinkedIn that are doing it. And I will leave it up to them to say whether or not they're doing it successfully. Um, so I reached out this morning before I decided, like a mad woman, I'm just going to do this. And so Richard Lowenthal, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, from Go Brunch, has already agreed to be on the show, along with Guy Pearce. And I'm just waiting for Joshua Lee to respond now. Now, I really want to get these three guys up there, and I want to hear what they have to say. So trust that it's going to be a very interesting conversation. That I am hoping would be next Saturday's show. I would make sure I get the event up there soon. So there's that. Tomorrow with Leslie, the next live show that's in the works right now for next Saturday. And then starting tomorrow, every single day of the week at 12 p.m. Eastern, I am going to go live for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. I joined the 2350 Network, co founded by Damien Kinsey and Dr. Tanya Farron at the beginning of the year. And I'll be speaking at the Virtual Wellness Experience March 21st and 22nd. Um, and I'm very drawn to the 2350 effect because I'm losing that 23 hours and 50 minutes in a day over a 10-minute speed bump. And that's the way I think about it. But I actually did hit a speed bump 2 weeks ago in a situation with work where I was like, no, I don't think it's a speed bump I'm going over right now. I think this is a speed bump I'm flying off of and flying off the road. And I did. And what I did is I went on the other side of the road and I took the traffic heading the opposite way. Um, and here I find myself now, an entrepreneur. So, wow, I got Felipe up here. Man, this stage is rocking this morning. Well, good morning, Mr. Cofino. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Nick. How are you? I'm a little tired. I had a we had a memorial service for a friend of ours that was uh, when I worked for Hyatt for 23 years. He was one of our general managers and in the DC area, and it he was just one of those great people that impacted so many lives. And his, when people say they have a good soul or good heart, an example of that is that this is the type of man that when we were walking out to lunch in the middle of the city, and he would see someone looking confused at a corner, like he'd walk up to them and say, "Can I help you find anything?" And just to a random stranger. And so we had a very wonderful day yesterday, spending time with friends I have not seen in a very, very, very long time. So and we ended up staying at the hotel overnight, and we're going to check out in a little bit. So I jumped on your show when I saw your message because I thought, what a great Sunday! I get to relax, wake up quietly, and then I get to attend Nick's show.
Awesome. Yeah, Nick showed at 9:10 went up and was like, let's go live 9:30. I talk about never in control moments. Um, well, I'm glad to hear the memorial went well. Usually the very first thing people would tell you is they're sorry. And I guess that we all are when a loss is felt like that. But it seems that it was, in a way, a celebration, which I
It
think
absolutely was.
it's what it should be. Um,
He would have come back down and be like, "Stop your crying, move on. I don't want y'all crying for me. Y'all better celebrate my life and remember the good times because I don't want to see any crying." And that was his mindset.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that because I actually do feel that it is a celebration of the person's life, the legacy they left behind, the impact that they made, all the hearts that they touched. And, we just never know. I mean, we pass on, but what we did in our lifetime would have touched so, so, so many more people that we would ever know and that we would never have met. And thank you for coming up. Thank you for saying yes that I should do this. Yeah, I'm still kind of uh, Rachel, never late, always on time. The point is that you made it. And yeah, so a couple of things. One, I can't believe I decided to do this. Send out a bunch of messages and people show up. But who's people? People are my community. I'm a part of this community. Um, Very much looking forward to coming back bi-monthly and doing this. Now that I have the time, it is such a wonderful thing for me to say now that I have the time. But and I'm gonna throw you on the spot here, Felipe, because if you are free any day this week, Tuesday through Friday at 12, um, I would love to have you on for 10 minutes because I'm going to do that 2350 network promo with the virtual wellness experience promo. But the way I pitched it was 23 hours and 50 minutes in a day over a 10-minute speed bump. And it really was a speed bump for me because, you know, while I stepped into entrepreneurship and I walked away from my job, there was a speed bump. There was a speed bump that brought this forward, if you will. I knew it was coming. I started to feel that every morning over the last few weeks. I don't want to go to work. I love where I work. I love my team. I like what I do. I'm so good at it. And I'm well compensated. But I was waking up in the morning feeling that this is where I need to be and this is what I need to be doing. And it's not everybody that could financially, and let's just be freaking honest here, walk away and decide they're going to chase their dreams. Um, I am fortunate that right now I can for a little bit. And, I intend to not let this opportunity pass me by. And it's funny that I'm having this part of the conversation with you on stage, the HR to go guy, in my opinion. And we had a conversation last week. Um, and I reached out because I felt that I needed to speak to somebody that is grounded in dealing with people who may oftentimes come to you in a space where they're highly emotional. Um, an event has occurred and they're about to make a life changing decision. Um, what advice would you give anyone in that space? Now, it's a little bit late to give me that advice, but
You know, anytime somebody's making a decision that's going to impact their life, you know, first and foremost, put some thought into it, do research, make sure that you've thought it out and you've thought about the ripple effect of like, all right, well, if I do this, what's my life going to look like in a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now? And make sure that you think about that because there are things that you want to prepare yourself for. And you know me, I'm always about if we're going to do this, I want to have some good goals. So I always say run it through the SMART goal test to make sure you just ask yourself the questions that you need to. But then here's the other thing, find something that brings you passion, that you get that gets you excited. Like you said, there was something in you, Nick, that was driving you that says, I need to do this, I want to do this. um, and if you have that passion, you have the skill, and you have the drive, those are the three things that really are going to help you be successful. But the other thing is that we can't sit, wish, and hope and pray for stuff. We've got to get off our butts and take action. And it's a lot of work and a lot of time, but that's where if you're doing something that's passionate, that you feel that brings you some level of gratitude and appreciation and joy, if you will, it's not going to feel like hard work. So I think that you are doing something that is great. I applaud you for it. I think that you've thought it through. It's not something that you just did a knee jerk reaction. I never encourage people to knee jerk react, especially when it comes to their careers and money. Think it through. And I also think that life is going to throw us things, and whether you have faith or you believe in fate or whatever, we're here at this time for a reason, and sometimes we have to just start trying to take those chances to grab those moments and see what happens, because I don't want to sit there and say, oh, I should have, woulda, coulda, or I wonder what would happen if I had done this. If you really want to do it, put some work into it, create a plan, and try. And at least you said you tried and you gave it your best.
that's exactly how I feel. Now, I would say for me that failure is not an option. Now, at the same time, I will be realistic in saying that there's no guarantee that I will succeed. But I believe with every fiber of my being that this is where I need to be now. And to be honest with you, I feel the success already in my veins. Now, I agree with being fulfilled. I agree with waking up every morning and feeling passionate about what you do, that thing that feeds your soul. But appreciation, impact that you make, feeling fulfilled um, on a personal level, etc., 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 does not pay bills. I can't pay the mortgage with, hey, I'm living my dream. And I think that that's something that we have to consider when we decide to take a step like this. It
Well,
is just
oh, sorry.
go. It's an open conversation.
No, yeah, I think it's that's the point about the research. You got to figure out if what you want to do, if there's a need for it out there. Because if there's not a need for it, then you might not be doing it at the right time. And that's where that research is key. And people sometimes jump over the research part. You got to find out what are these needs and gaps. And then the other thing I'd say, what's your backup plan? It's not because you think you're going to fail, but it's always important because there's things that might impact you, like outside influences, a pandemic, the economy, things that you can't control. That if something were to happen, what is your backup plan? It might not be the strongest plan, but at least you're starting to think about that. And when you have that, it gives you a little more confidence to focus on your primary plan a little bit more because you're not as concerned maybe, and that little negative voices and creeping in your head. It's like, nope, I got a plan if something happens, but right now I'm focused on me.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's why I know um, it's a new leg of my journey, and I am employing everything that I know to be smart about it. And there's going to have to be research because there are things that I don't know. And I wish that I could say I knew the recipe for success, but a lot of the success I've seen, there has been no recipe. I have taken a bit of an ingredient from here and from there and whatever, and just kind of smushed together my recipe. And I want to keep doing that. And part of the reason I keep sharing the post about day 3, day 5 of entrepreneurship is because, like my recovery with my knee, I want to be able, if Melissa was there, she would love this. I want to be able to document um, the steps. And it's not that it will work for everyone exactly like, but it's great to have a loose guide, if you will. Um,
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. And one thing I will say about that is, you know, the word loose is key because the reality, like a recipe, people's taste buds are going to change. So
yep.
sometimes you got to tweak your recipe to keep it updated. Some people like it if it's current and it works. Okay, great. But sometimes you got to revisit it and say, you know what? Let's add a little spice to it, or let's try something different here because people are starting to get bored with this approach. And
Hmm.
so I really do think there's always a good chance to do that too.
Yeah.
Well, I
Dennis
think
and
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say hello to Dennis and Cookie. I gotta get used to the knowing when somebody's going to speak part, Felipe. Sorry.
No, please. You're the queen. I'm bad. I get excited about an idea and I tend to jump in sometimes. But I just wanted to thank you again for coming back on Sundays. I hope you do continue this. Let me know. Let's talk about how I can support you. Absolutely. I think there's a day this week we could definitely do. And thank you for just all that we do for everybody else. That we talked about legacy before, but the book, that man who passed away, he left a huge legacy, and you helping us bring us together for the legacy book really is a lot of the same values that we talked about of how people impact others' lives, and we document it for people to see. It's a real nice thing to have. So thank you again for that, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming up. And um, my goodness, there's so much that we could just keep talking about where this new journey of entrepreneurship begins for me. And I'm going to keep sharing about it as I've always shared about everything. And perhaps one of the reasons I could have walked away to follow my passion, and it's something that I want people to think about as well. I knew that being passionate about something was not enough for me to stop what I was doing and chase my dreams. There had to be a need. And I have been shown that there is a need over the last, my goodness, When I think about it, December 23 to December 24, 5 books got published, 62 co authors got published. That was the need. If there wasn't one, I couldn't just do this. Now I have to keep building it out. And how do I do that? I have to keep putting my message out there, and reaching more people, and that means visibility. So all of my business thus far has been through LinkedIn, um, and not a ton of it through promotion and marketing with posts and such, but starting with a few who worked with me, who spread the word. And so much of my business has come through referrals. A person brings a person. That person loves the experience. They bring someone else on. Um, you know, it's really a thing when people feel that you have done so much for them to help them fill their passions, but it's every person that supports my mission. It's every person that chooses to write in one of these collaborative books that continues to fuel my passion. I want there to always be understanding that there is a give and take, um, in everything. And I think that that natural give and take that I have with people is what fills me up. So I think I was trying to say hello to Koki and Dennis. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And I just want to thank everyone for jumping on it. It's very impromptu live. And I'll definitely be back again 2 Sundays from now. And we'll keep doing this, and we'll keep doing it with a little more intention so that we can continue to grow together and learn from one another. Um, so I'm going to take the show till 11. It has been, wow, I can't believe it's already, wait, 9:30, 10. So yeah, it's already been more than an hour. It's Sunday morning. Okay, folks, give me a chance. I got to think about the numbers here. But like I said, the event link or the link to get backstage is in the comments of the event on this post. If you want to jump on, we still have a few minutes. I'm Nick, the gifted bipolar writer. The gift is not the writing, the gift is bipolarness. So when I started GBW, Gifted Bipolar Writer, GBW, Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing, um, the brilliance, people, is not the writing. The brilliance is your story. The brilliance is in you owning your story. Nobody else can own it, write it the way you would. Why? Because nobody has lived it the way you have. That is the brilliance. So the brilliant part is your story. We all have a brilliant story. The writer part is guiding writers, because I can edit all day long. It doesn't matter how well edited a story is if the story is not impactful, if the story has no identification, if the story does not motivate, inspire, teach, encourage. That is where the story comes in. That is where the brilliance comes in. The brilliance comes out of you, and guiding brilliant writers, publishing. Oh, we're going to go far. We're going to go really, really far. Because the foundation is being built now, and it's being built on the 62 co authors over the last year that I have had the pleasure of working with. So, started off today saying, have you ever scrolled home screen on social media and come across quotes that you've seen that you took a screenshot of because for one reason or the other it spoke to you? And I tend to do that. And I am going to read one more quote. I read a few, that I did take a screenshot of. And this one, of course, because I'm a writer, means so much to me. I just love it. And I hope that you would take away some meaning this coming week with it. We are like books. Most people only see our cover. The minority read only the introduction. Many people believe the critics. Few will know our content. I would love to be one of the people in this world that changes this. We are like books. Most people only see our cover. The minority read only the introduction. Many people believe the critics. Few will know our content. I need that to read differently. I need most people to not only see our cover, I need most people to know our content. And I need most people to know that their content matters. And that there is a way for their content to also be seen and felt. Mostly felt. Because that's how I feel that we identify with one another. Yes, Rachel, you're going to have to come up here one of these good old days and share some of the screenshots of those quotes because I definitely want to hear a few of them. And by all means, feel free to drop any screenshots of quotes you have taken in the comments of the show, and I certainly will share my opinion because, well, goodness gracious, thank God we all have one. Hola, Brenda Lise. It's so good that you're able to join. All right, well, we're wrapping up. We do have a few minutes to 11, but I'm going to jump off. My poor husband is trying to grab the cereal. I do have a tiny but very happy, peaceful home. And I'm trying to put the finger at him that, no, I'm live right now. Don't grab the crunchy cereal box right now. Like, no. Oh, goodness. Well, it's been real. Another Nick never in control. Maybe, maybe not. I think the answer is yes. So I will definitely share the event for 2 Sundays from now. Look out for the event posting for Nick Never in Control's live show next Saturday. Um, the topic is definitely going to be about entrepreneurship. Um, is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? When do you know? Do you step fully into how can you be held back if you're doing it part time? What are the possibilities if you do it full time? There has to be conversation. I love you too, Rachel, and and I love you too, Sharon. I'm seeing lots of loves and hearts up there. There has to be continued open conversation about entrepreneurship. I don't want to read all the posts about I closed 900 clients last year. I'm so successful. I'm making $250,000. Nor do I want to read I've been in business for 2 years and I'm still trying to land my first client. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. We need to address the in between. We need to address the how do we get from point A to point A, B, that was C, right? Yeah, because there's an in between, which is the B. Okay, so we're going to discuss the B. That's what I'm going to discuss. And, well, guess what? You get to follow my journey of entrepreneurship and see where it leads. But I'm telling you right now, you're wrong for a hell of a ride. Because I don't follow instructions very well, but I'm very good about making up my own instructions. Have a good week, all, and chat with you soon. Go on and take control back of your life by understanding that sometimes it's okay to give up control.